There we are. We are doing round 2 of questions, asking people about what art is, why they go there and watch art. So here we go. Let's go for it. Okay, so the first question is a pretty simple one on the surface, but what is art, would you say? What would be your personal definitions of art?
Something interesting to look at.
Anything that puts beauty above function.
Beauty above function. Okay, I like that. That's pretty good. Okay.
Interesting that you don't need, that you enjoy.
Right. Excellent. Cool. Do you think there's an objective standard for good art? There's certain art that's just better than other art? Or do you think it's all relativistic and subjective? It's just up to everyone's opinion what they think. A child's piece of art could be as good as Van Gogh. What do you think?
I know what he's going to say. I think, yes, that there is some art that's better than others.
I don't. I think it's all subjective.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, because I mean, who is someone to say? You know, for example, cookery. Who's to say that the food that I cook isn't as good as the food that you see on MasterChef? I think it's good. I think it's great, but other people would disagree. Are they right and I'm wrong? And if the same goes for art, you know what I mean? I could make a piece of art. It could be, I could think it's great. I could think it's, you know, the cat's pajamas, and some art critic from inside the Tate, they'd say, no, it's terrible. Are they right? Yeah, maybe, but probably not.
So the whole hierarchy of arts and artists thing is a bit of a hoax, in your view. It's a bit of a double standard.
It depends. If people enjoy it, then it can go in a gallery. I mean, there's the other question of, is it worth money? And that's a different question, really. Because it's worth, in terms of money, it's worth what someone's willing to pay for it, right? It's not got any objective value in itself, apart from the materials used to create it. Just like anything else, it's worth what someone's willing to pay for it, and it's as good as somebody thinks it is in terms of the quality of the art. It's as good as the audience thinks it is.
Man-made beauty. Man-made beauty or like intellectual stimulation.
Could we say that equations in physics are art, are a type of art as well then?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. That's interesting. Okay.
Art is what we feel inside at that moment, and also for the people who look at that art.
They get this same feeling?
I think yes. Yeah.
All right. What do you think?
I think I'm going to repeat what Duchamp thought. Art is whatever you call art. So
Aha!
I can call this picture I'm going to take of her art, if I want to. But I can also just call it a picture. I can call my words right now art, and it will be art, because I position it as art.
What is that?
Yeah.
A thing?
A thing? Okay, yeah, a thing. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Get it there? Yeah.
Well, something artistic. It's something that's in everybody's mind's eye, something natural, something that's given with colour, radiance. It's something of beauty. Sometimes it tries to tell a story.
Something created for pleasure and enjoyment, I guess. Yeah.
Could we say then, just being annoying here, could we say that a pint of beer is a work of art or art or something? Yes.
Yeah. Art perhaps doesn't necessarily have an obvious use beyond enjoyment and relaxation and
Okay, that's
education.
yeah. No, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Art has to be something that the observer or the person experiencing the art interacts with in some way, that maybe alters them slightly or challenges their perception or makes them see things in a new way. And so if it's purely pleasure but it has no challenge in it, then I would not call it art. If it doesn't bring anything new, but also art, it can't be propaganda, so it has to be something that stands in some ways on its own, not necessarily yeah, it's not. Although ideas have to be involved, it can't have a single obvious message. Possibly has ambiguity, or the interaction with the observer has to be important as well.
Art is a representation of human emotion. I don't know whether I can be exact about it, but I think art can represent an enormous range of anything, and if it conveys some meaning or feeling to you as the observer, then that's arguably art. As simple as that.
Okay. Could we say this building is art because it conveys a certain feeling in us, in a way?
Someone designed it. It could have just built something that was utterly functional, but even then someone would have had to design it and make it look like something.
Art is something that allows you to dream whilst you're awake.
Expression.
I don't know. Okay, I got to think about it. Hold on, we'll do it again.
What do you think?
Expression of someone's creativity or what's on their mind.
Excellent. Okay.
It's all around. It can be nature. It can be something from within. It's all around.
Okay. So
Yeah.
trees can be art as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Where people get together,
Yeah.
and you have a connection, and it's you can be whatever you want to be, and art is for some people like a religion, maybe.
For me, is art something how people can express themselves and show other people what they're thinking about, how individual and creative they are. And I think it's the source of everything, because art was the beginning and art exists for, I don't know, centuries.
Art is a source of being.
Oh, Jesus. Well, it's definitely a product of human beings that can have practical, but it can also have impractical. Generally it's about feeling, but many times it can also just be about expressing a certain idea, or not well, usually an idea. Generally it's an idea. You want to express certain ideas in ways in which you generally can't with like a shopping list or something.
I think subjective. Yeah.
Subjective.
Like if you have a positive mindset, you get more art. Yeah, because you're like seeing it everywhere.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. So it's not confined to when people say I've made a piece of art. You could say this bridge is a piece of art in a way. Okay. Okay. So what about like differences in quality? Could we say that a kid's hand painting art is as good as Van Gogh? It's just a matter of perspective.
Yeah, I think so. Van Gogh is great, but like we've kind of just decided he's really important. It's like we've decided some brands are like really great. Like,
right.
No, there's definitely got to be some skill involved, whether it's physical or something else. Yeah. So no, that it's not all equal.
So we got an objective marker of skill. Skill is one objective marker.
Not necessarily objective. It could be subjective. So, I mean, there's nothing absolute, is there? But there's got to be some skill or an indication of skill that somebody sees in it.
I believe that perception of art and its quality is quite subjective. And you have the right to, like a random singer from, I don't know, your village, even if they're not amazing and they're not recognized by everyone. Or you can not like some pieces by Bach just because you don't understand them. And I think that's fine. I think quality of art can only be evaluated on a subjective level. Also, from my personal experience, before I took an art history class, I would hate going to museums. But after I took one art history class and I was taught what I need to be paying attention to, I started enjoying art more and appreciating pieces. So I think knowledge actually allows people to appreciate, I would say, the traditional recognized art more.
Right, okay.
I have a question to you now.
Yes, yeah, go for it.
Before we leave. Question to you, do you think that we are art? Because we are art today.
As people? As people?
I am walking art today, piece of art.
In what sense do you mean? Like with your clothes style, with your physical form?
The way I talk, the way I behave, the way I carry myself, the way I dress. Everything is a representation of how I feel and what I want to convey to the world. And I think I'm art. What do you think?
I definitely think some art is better than other art, so I think it can't just be entirely subjective. There must be some standard, you know, that makes art better, or better art better than other art. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'd define it though.
Okay, that's good. So there's like, is there sort of an objective standard that comes before people's perception, before people? Or is that standard set by people, so it is kind of subjective, but it has to be set there for us to play this game in the first place?
That's a tough one. I mean, I guess originally maybe art was attempting to represent reality, so something in the real world, and you know, a good portrait was more accurate perhaps than a bad portrait. You know, somebody who was a good artist was able to better represent reality than somebody who was a poor artist. But I guess then over time art has changed, hasn't it? And so you've got different movements in art that have moved away from representing reality and more into trying to express emotions or ideas.
I think so. I love your glasses. I like your colours here. That subtle kind of purple thing with the chocolate.
Yes, ultimately it's the latter, that it is subjective, but over time I think art has been important at certain periods in time where thousands of people have added to an opinion that at that point a certain inflection point was reached, and therefore that art was more significant than others, not necessarily better than others, but more significant than others.
Okay, so it's sort of crystallized through history, through our shared opinion.
Yes.
So it's like a tradition almost.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's very philosophical, honestly. The one thing I would say is that, you know, it's not. I mean, it's subjective only to a certain point. I think because of course we're social animals. We're social animals. We live in society. We have certain things, and we build all these things from ourselves, even not voluntarily. It's not we're all planning it or something like that. But we have our standards in each society, and each time we have different things that we need to express. And generally, so for us now, yeah, a child's drawing could be nice, but you know, Van Gogh is also nice. It's got a specific technique. It's got specific things that he did as well.
Yeah.
So you know, then to say it's objective according to a bigger idea, that's when you get into something else. I mean, for other people, the objective value would be market value, and that can be, you know, garbage to most people, but it makes a lot of money. Like an artist called Tom Scully. No, what is his name? I can't remember his name. There's some artist that just makes big things, big colors. I don't like it.
Right.
But it makes a lot of money, so I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong.
So from an economic standpoint, he is winning. It is good art.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how. But that can change.
Yeah, right.
That
yeah,
changes.
right.
I want to say no, like total freedom, but if someone makes art and their art is just like, it's not art and it's deeply negative, it's really hard to say though, because what else are we doing now that like, it's hard to say, that's very clear, but the line is really unclear.
I guess some people could be upset by it, so it could go too far for some people, yeah.
But is that art going too far? Is that just art being art?
I think that's art being art, so yeah.
So some people might think that art can go too far, but they would be usually wrong.
I don't know, you can't really tell what people think, can you? So if it goes too far for someone and it's going too far for them, that doesn't mean necessarily that it shouldn't be done.
That is a difficult one, actually. I mean, I don't think art should be sanitized or censored, except where it's used, I don't know, to discriminate or to engender hatred towards people, or, you know, I guess where it becomes propaganda, I would start to kind of think that maybe
political message behind it, maybe. If it's used to incite hatred.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if it was inciting hatred or prejudice, then against people or minorities, then I think I would really start to kind of question whether or not it should be allowed, or it certainly shouldn't be promoted. And
there's certain things that shouldn't go into art, like should be overtly inciting, but it's a tough one.
I guess it's the same argument that you have in writing and publishing and any kind of communication of a message, isn't it? That in the end, I guess, we have laws, and if it oversteps the laws and starts to actually incite hatred, then I think there's a reasonably strong legal system that can kind of stop it from being published or being shown as, if it's artwork, or published if it's writing.
Yeah,
I'd like to think so. I don't know.
I think art, I could draw whatever I want. You wouldn't have to necessarily look at it. So yes, art can be offensive, and therefore the audience should be not controlled, but I wouldn't force my art on anyone, so I don't think art therefore should be censored, no, but the audience should be forewarned, but not censored.
So we're going to have trigger warnings or like things like that?
Yeah, no, it should certainly never be censored, no.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose the worst example you can come with is art that involves violence or direct hate speech or something like that.
Well, even then, the art, unless it can physically harm you, and that in the creation of that art no one was hurt, then what damage can it actually do by looking at it?
Yes, we need like an outlet, and we need it's a place to like either be really critical or like dream really, really big. And we need that to thrive as like individuals, but also to kind of release those ideas and have it make change.
No, it's vital. It's vital, yeah.
How is it vital?
I don't know, it just makes life better, I would say. Whether it's music, painting or whatever, yeah, definitely. Life would be a lot worse without it.
It's necessary.
Okay.
For the culture and for the eyes, because it's kind of beautiful sometimes. But I think many artists have to make art for the creativity and for explain yourself.